First off, I want to ask you to ignore the paint swatches on the wall behind me. If you might be able to tell, we have some new furniture going on, some shelves, painting the wall. This is eventually going to be our office/library, so it's in the process. Ignore the craziness behind me. Today is my day off, and I am waiting for the cable man to come, so hopefully he does not interrupt me in the middle of this video. Otherwise, I'll be upset that I have to stop and deal with that and then come back to talk about makeup. I just want to talk about makeup, so that's what we're gonna do. I have a boatload of things to show you because this is gonna be all things Koh Gen Do. I made 3 purchases and I started off with just one, and the whole reason behind that one is that I watched Donna Short's one. She doesn't know I exist, but I love her videos. I love her videos so much. They are a joy to watch. I'm sure most of you have heard of her and been watching her for a long time as well. I'll go ahead and link her down below just in case you haven't, but I'll try to find the specific video that I watched. She actually made a couple different videos about this foundation right here. And it was new at the time, although now it's not brand new. At first you couldn't get it in Sephora, although now I believe it is in Sephora. So actually that's something I should talk about right now, is some of these things you can purchase at Sephora online. However, not all of the things that Koh Gen Do makes, in fact some of the best things they make, aren't available on Sephora online. Also, they give you the best gift with purchases and samples. They give you some really good things, which I'll be able to show you because I got some fantastic deals. So let's go ahead and talk about the reason behind my first purchase was to get this brand new foundation. And Donna talked about this so nicely that I had to purchase it. I just had to purchase it. It's the Maifanshi Aqua. Here it is. It is the perfect color for me. The perfect color. Comes with a pump. Mine's a little bit dirty, so don't look too closely. Perfect color. I thought I had found my perfect color with the Makeup Forever HD. I thought it was perfect. It was by far not right. Especially in winter, this is the perfect color. Sorry if you can hear some crunching over there. My dogs are now eating their food. Okay. Now where was I? Oh yes. This is the perfect color, especially for my winter skin. It probably will be a little bit too light when it gets to be summer, but by then I'm sure I'll be through this bottle and able to purchase a slightly darker shade. They don't have a huge range yet of colors in this specific foundation. Perhaps as time goes on, they'll add more colors to it, this is the perfect color for me. It's also the perfect foundation. I've been using it almost every day since I bought it. And one of the days I went back to using my Makeup Forever and it was awful. It was awful. And I really don't think I can describe this better than Donna does. So I am hopefully gonna find her video, link it down below. But just remember, she made multiple videos about this specific foundation. So look on her channel from the original one that I link you, and you'll find several different ones talking about it. Right now, this is my favorite foundation. It's light, so some of you who like fuller coverage may not enjoy this. Some of you who have intense textural issues, I'm talking about pitting from old cystic acne, this doesn't deal with texture as well. For a very light, very thin feeling foundation, it does give fantastic coverage. All the coverage that I personally need. And I'm going to put some on my hand. You can see that it's already starting to move and travel down my hand. Now it's just fantastic for me and I love everything about it. Covers up everything that I want to cover. Now keep in mind, I also am the type of person that doesn't love completely full coverage on my skin. I like letting things show through. I'm also the person who doesn't use concealer. Actually, that's something else I want to talk about. With either your fingers or the foundation brush, which I'll talk about a little bit later, you can add extra layers on top of this. what I would suggest and what I do, if you're using your hands, thin it out, apply a couple different thin layers, and then go back to spots that might need some extra attention, like some redness, or if you have a few little bumps going on, and add a little bit more and pat in. And patting on those areas will really add most of the coverage that you're probably gonna need. So foundation comes with this great little sponge. Actually, it's a pretty big sponge. I don't prefer to put on the foundation with this, although you can see that I have. It's a fantastic sponge though, and I also like using the sponge with the Illuminator. And I have it in the color 002, which is one of the pink undertoned descriptions. Somewhere online I found, I believe on their website, they separated it as to what they classify are pink undertones, yellow undertones, and beige undertones. So if I can find that specific section of their website, I'll try and include that in the description as well. So I'm not gonna drone on and on, even though I certainly could about this foundation, because I have lots of other things to talk about. And like I said, I think Donna really talks about it better than I ever could, so check out her videos for sure. So part of the reason why I got it right away was that they were doing a combo with the Maifanshi Aqua Foundation. You could also get a sample of their Aqua Foundation Illuminator, and it was the beige one specifically. And this little sample is the one that I believe I showed in my Burberry Fresh Glow powder video. So that was kind of a package deal. Get the foundation and then get this size of the beige illuminator. Well, I also wanted to try the cleansing spa water, so I picked up 100 milliliters of this, and this was, I believe, $13 for 100 milliliters. So I've heard people talk about it. I definitely wanted to give it a try. And this actually isn't my original bottle. You can see I have half of this left. I went through my original bottle already because I loved it so much, I purchased some more. This cleanser is fantastic, although I don't think I use it in the same way that a lot of people I have seen talk about this use it. I actually have gotten into double cleansing, and what I mean by that is at the end of the day, or whenever I want to take off my makeup, I put this on some cotton, then I put it on my face. I usually try to keep it in a spot for about 5 seconds, and then I move, and then at the end I, wipe over it. And it does a fantastic job of getting off all of your makeup. I haven't used it on eye makeup yet, so I'm not sure quite how that goes. I use a different cleanser specifically just for my eyes. It's the Chanel eye makeup remover, but this does a great job. Then what I do after that is I go in with my First Aid Beauty cleanser and wash my face with that. I do know that lots of people have said you can just take, and even online they say that you can just take off your makeup with this and you're good to go. You can move on with your routine. You don't have to do additional cleansing. You can leave this on your skin. I am always very wary about leaving stuff on my skin, so I just go in and wash it off. Whichever one works for you. It probably would work fantastic just being your only cleanser. Now onto the freebies that came along with the order. They sent the little packets that come along of the Aqua Illuminators, and there are 2 colors so far of these Aqua Illuminators. There's a beige, which is IL01, and there's a white, which is IL00. The beige I have yet to open because I had this little guy. The white, you can see I busted into that one to sample, and I mean, they're so beautiful that you'll see how beautiful I thought they were in my second purchase. Then they also sent, I have another one to show that hasn't been broken into, this little guy, because they sent one with every order that I made. Comes with a little sponge and a little, see the little disc of foundation. This is their triple lighting foundation. I tested it out. It's really hard to get a feel for what it's going to be like from those little tiny round flat sheer samples that they send, but so far I have yet to purchase it. It just didn't wow me. I've never been big onto powder, so I haven't purchased it yet. I'm sure it's a great powder, but I just haven't purchased it yet. Then they also sent this little tub of the 002 Maifanshi Aqua Foundation that I purchased, which I thought was genius. I'm not sure if they do this for the reason that I'm thinking they do it, but I'm thinking they send it to you so you can try it without having to open the package. That way you can return it if you know that it's not the right color or you don't like it. Because once you open it, I believe their return policy is that you can't actually return it. So I thought that was actually really generous. Lots of companies don't give you the chance to try it without, you know, excluding you from their return policy. Okay, so that was my first purchase. The foundation, the 100 milliliters cleansing water, and then the little freebies that came along with it. So, because I loved the cleansing water so much, I got their little kit that they put together. So, for the price of the 300 milliliter bottle of the cleansing spa water, you could get 3 of the 100 milliliter bottles, which is the same amount. But you also, for the same exact price, which I believe was $39, you got the little bag it comes in, and then this, which I've already gone through, was 10 of their pure cottons, which were so fantastic. So 10 of these, the little bag, and then the 3 for the same price of the cleansing water. I thought that was a great deal. I believe it's still going on right now, but with a different kind of tote. It's not a clear tote. So if you're still interested, you probably can still find this deal going on. Because I got the foundation, I wanted to try their makeup color base. It is a little bit expensive. It's $50. But I wanted it. I wanted it so badly. And I'm not a person who normally uses primers, but I loved this color. This is the lavender pink color, which you can probably tell. They also make a white one, a green one, and a yellow one, I believe. And this one is supposed to correct dullness and sallowness. And I don't want you to think that because this is lavender pink, which it definitely looks like in the liquid form, when you even it out and you want a really thin layer of this, you really do, you can't tell it is pink at all. It just really does give a little bit of something to the skin. I'm not sure if I'm completely on board with the fact that it was $50 and it just seems like such a teeny little tube, but you really don't need much of it. Like I said, very thin layer. You do not want to thickly apply that. It is really good at covering up pores. I have a few on my, right on the side of my nose. You can really push it in. It does a great job with that. I don't know if I really have a dull complexion, so I can't really say if this really counteracts dullness and sallowness. It does bring a nice lightness to the skin. And I don't mean lightness as in it is sparkly, because it's definitely not sparkly. It doesn't have a sheen or a reflection to it either. It just something about it. It's probably the fact that it ends up looking whitish pink. But again, thin layers, you really don't tell that it's pink when you put it on your skin. Just does a little something. And the 2 other things I got with that purchase were both of the colors of the Aqua Illuminators. I love them so much. As I've already said, the beige is gorgeous. It's perfection. I can't even talk about it too much because I'm just gonna start gushing at you, and I know that is not what you want to hear. So again, I got the beige and the white. Here they are in their full-size packaging. They're beautiful. If I could prefer one, I would prefer the beige. The white is good, but it's not as good as the beige. This one doesn't have the same reflection as the beige does, and more how I view it is that you blend it in and it just slightly lightens the area that you put it on. So it's a highlighter by way of lightening the area. It's not a highlighter by way of catching the light in a reflection or a dewy sort of way. Is that coming through the way I want it to sound? The way I like to apply them. I like to use my fingers. I also believe that you can use the foundation brush. You can also use the sponge that came with the foundation that I believe I mentioned earlier. All great ways of applying it. I'm going to show you right now. I am not wearing a highlighter, which you probably can tell because I'm looking a little matte right now. I'm going to take my little sample one. I need the tiniest amount for this. You don't want to go overboard because it'll just look so much better if you use small amounts. I'm going to use the mirror of this and hopefully you're going to be able to see it. Here we go. First, I run it across there. Then I would just work it in and I start buffing the edges with my finger because the amount that I have right there in the center part is just enough. And you don't want to work it out too much because then you'll completely lose it and it'll just be worked into your skin and it'll look like you have nothing on there. So what I do is I lay it down and then I do the edges. That way you don't lose this great highlight by working it too much, but you don't have that bold stripe of a line. So that's why you have to work the edges and feather it out just a little bit. And there we go. And there's a side without it. So I think you can see incredibly natural. The white, like I mentioned before, really lightens the area. In fact, maybe I should working out of the packet, which makes it slightly harder because the packets just aren't. And blending. Okay. And I think I have, I'm gonna put on there. So I hope you can see the difference. It has more of a white glow to it. Well, this side is definitely more the color of skin because it is the beige. So in the end, I do prefer the beige. However, I will definitely get my use out of the white. It's just a different look. And I think you can even tell from far away. It just shows up a little bit different. So keep that in mind. Pick either one. They're both $39. A good investment. I think a good price for a liquid highlighter. And I love it so much. It's by far my favorite highlighter ever, more than the Burberry Fresh Glow liquid. It's just great. So when I was doing that purchase, they had a deal going on. If you spent a certain amount of money, which I can't remember how much it was now, they would send you these. And I think the light is probably going to make it impossible for you to see. This is, well, here's a picture of everything that comes inside of it. Comes in this plastic pouch and it includes a lot of little samples. I'm not going to show you each one individually, but basically they look like that. There's some of the soap in a little paper packet. It does include a pure cotton and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 little samples in here. Fantastic way to test out their skincare. I haven't used it yet. I'm still waiting to, it takes a lot for me to mess with my whole skincare routine. So I am a little bit nervous to completely use them up, but if you're interested in sampling their skincare, which I have heard fantastic things about their skincare, keep an eye on the website. They often change up their promotions. Like, you can tell the difference between my 3 orders, which were just done within the span of a month. I got lots of different little extras in my packages. So keep an eye on the website. You can get some fantastic deals, fantastic freebies, samples, and little promotions that they have going on. They just do a great job of promoting themselves. And because of things that I've gotten in those little deal samples, it's made me go on to purchase the full size. Okay, let's talk about my last order, which just came in. I loved the Pure Cotton so much. I got their box, which you can see I've busted into. These things, they're this size. They are so great. They are pure cotton. I'm going to read you the little description because this really says it all. 100% pure cotton, a cotton that has not been chemically treated, bleached, or pigmented. These are better than the Shiseido. They're a little bit bigger than the Shiseido. They're actually really thick. I don't know if you can tell. They come apart in these layers, especially once they get wet, so you can do double duty. One of these does my whole face, both sides, with the cleansing spa water. I really love them. For this box, 60 pads was $12. They came out with the Maifanshi pressed powder, which I was so excited to try. Again, like I mentioned before, I'm not a powder person, and yet when I saw the picture of this online, it was so enticing. And they have a deal, which I believe is still going on, at least right now. You get this little brush with the powder when you purchase it. The case for the powder is nice. Comes with a really substantial mirror, which I won't blind you with, and a great little powder puff, which I have actually used. It's pretty good. You can see that I've used it. Pretty good. It's very good to roll on. Actually, a great way to use it is to roll it on with a powder puff. I have also applied it with this little brush, which actually does really well to just sweep it on. Is a great way to apply it. And then once you take out the powder puff, they put in a little insert, which I've kept in mine, and it has a little tab to make it really easy to take it in and out. A lot of things that come with these little clear plastic protectors aren't so easy. You always have to tip them out. Oh, this comes with a perfect little tab that sticks up, which you probably won't be able to see there. You can kind of see it. And it's so easy. So I'm definitely keeping this in here to keep my powder and puff separated. It's just so much more hygienic that way, and it keeps the powder from getting everywhere. It's perfect. It's perfect. So there's the powder. You're probably not gonna be able to see this from so far away, but there's actually two tones to this. And I think you can probably see it in this angle. You could definitely see it in the close-ups. This is a pale pink, and then a little strip, and then the little strip of white in this corner. Again, don't be afraid that this is going to end up looking too pink and white on you. I'm wearing it right now, and I'll even add more right now. This is not gonna show up terribly white on you. Maybe if you're a darker skin tone, it won't be as perfect for you, but this is the perfect color for me. And it's not meant to be your exact skin tone. This is a fantastic powder, and I am someone who hates powder. I don't think I can express that enough. The reason I hate powder is that it ruins the finish of the foundation and what I'm looking for. And it is true that this Maifanshi Aqua Foundation is the most beautiful finish. The most beautiful finish. You don't want to apply a powder over this almost, because that takes away part of what makes this so special. This really melts into your skin and looks like skin. It's unbelievable how amazing this looks. And part of that is taken away when you apply powder over top of it. Now this Maifanshi powder is impressive. It doesn't show up on your skin like most powders do in a very obvious way. This, again, sort of, and that's part of why you press it on or roll it on with the puff, or I believe you can even use their foundation brush to sort of apply it, but be careful with that. This is very subtle. Part of the reason why I like it, probably the biggest reason why I like it, that and the color. The color is just exactly what I'm looking for. It doesn't, my main problem with powders is that it makes me look so dry, especially right here. It is so obvious. So obvious. Makes me look dry. It's just not a good look. And I can't use powders because all of them literally do that. All of them. The ambient powder I could never get down with, except for in very specific areas. This, not obvious at all. Very finely milled, lays very lightly on the skin. It really is great. Something you should definitely check out if you're in the market for a almost translucent powder. All right, the other big purchase I made with that, which wasn't too big, that was actually, how much did I pay for that? The pressed powder is actually $63. So in comparison, this little foundation brush, which is only $30, is not the most expensive thing I purchased with that. This is a great little brush. This was another, I saw Donna talk about this with the Maifanshi Aqua Foundation, and this applies it so well. Now, I am not a person who applies foundation with a brush. I like using my hands. I always find that that gives the best result. Not so with this little brush. Now, it's very tiny. Not only is the handle tiny, but the actual head of the brush, very tiny. And it really lets you build up the Maifanshi Aqua Foundation really well by sort of pushing it in. The way I use it is I don't buff, I sort of spread it around like you're painting on your face with little dabs, and then I go back and push it in. I push other layers on top of, you know, my original layers. You just add it on. It gives a great finish to that foundation. And I do prefer using the brush over my hands, which is something I cannot say ever before this foundation and this brush, is that these two work together so well, so well. And the horrible part is that I went back, after using this for a month, I went back to my previous favorite foundation, the Makeup Forever HD, and I hate it now. Not only does it feel heavy, which that was a pretty light feeling foundation before, it feels heavy. I don't like the way it sits on my skin. I now think that it's so noticeable, which is shocking for an HD Makeup Forever foundation. I feel like it's ruined for me. This foundation has ruined it, and I can never go back to liking my previous foundations. Anyway, the little freebies that came along with that one, and I believe this is still, at least as of today, the gift with any purchase that you make at Koh Gen Do Cosmetics.com. It includes 2 little packets of the cleansing water that I showed you earlier, 2 of the cottons, which I showed you. I bought the box, and I had that sample of 10 of them. And then it also has 1 packet of their spa gel. This is, again, a great way to sample things without actually having to put in the money to purchase them. Like this sample. Yeah, you had to spend, I believe, $120 to get this. But these sample sizes are actually, I don't know, what is it, 3 inches tall? You could get some good use out of this and actually tell if it's worth investing the money into buying them. This is probably one of the standout stars. It's hard to just pick one thing, because I feel like all of the things that I have gotten so far are really stars. They are standouts. And if this were any other line, I would say, you know, what, every line has, I don't know, maybe 3 like top great fantastic things about their line. This has, I believe this line has a lot more than the average brand in terms of things that are very impressive and worth the money. I think $62 for this foundation is a fantastic price, considering that nowadays most of your high-end foundations are going to be at least $60. This one blows the others out of the water, at least the ones that I've tried. And again, I have specific tastes that you might not have. So this might not be for everyone, but I think it's not something that should be passed up. Cleansing spa water, perhaps a little expensive for what it does, but I have been really happy with it. So I wouldn't say it's as great of a star as the foundation, but it's definitely something that's worth checking out. The other huge star, I would say, is this little Aqua Foundation Illuminator in beige specifically. In fact, I love this highlighter so much. I purchased with my own money. I want to make that very clear. None of this was sent to me. Koh Gen Do doesn't know that I exist. They're not, you know, giving me anything for free that you couldn't, you know, the little samples that you get when you purchase for free. That doesn't count. They're not sending me promo things to try and get me to talk about it. I purchased this with my own money, this little beige illuminator, because I want to give it away to one of you. That's how much I love it. I was trying to figure out how to do this to make it fair, and I think what I'm going to do is what a lot of other YouTubers do, is use a rafflecopter link. That way, that will randomly pick someone and then will give me the email address, and then I will email you and then let you know that you won, and then you give me your address and I send it to you. And I guess that's the best way to do it. I'm not 100% sure. If that doesn't work, I will make another follow-up video and say, ooh, that did not work. We're just gonna do giveaways differently. I'm also not gonna put this in the title. So if you made it this far into the video, congratulations. Thanks for sticking with it. You now have a chance to get something for free. Because see, I'm always worried that, well, I'm not worried. It's not like I stay up at night worrying about this, but I always think there are people who watch a specific video just because it says there's a giveaway. And I want to give something to someone who has watched my videos, to someone who is a subscriber, which is another thing. You have to be a subscriber, which I don't think is asking too much. You have to be over 18 or a parent's permission, because you do have to give me your address. So if you're interested, follow the link that's down below to Rafflecopter and enter. Otherwise, still leave comments here. I'd love to know what you think about it. If you're going to try anything from the line, if you have already tried anything from the line, let me know. I'm obviously obsessed. So if there's something I haven't tried and I hear a good review from you guys, I probably will go out and purchase it, because I'm just going to stop talking. Leave comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I'll see you later.